Lauren.
My daughter.
We wanted to just go. When I was talking about
That's fine. That's what I'm going to say. I have associate degree. They have an articulation agreement with 2K. So, no. I think
deadly right there.
Is there something funny about that?
I see a first.
The theater principal.
So who is in here? Bill Seeger.
Dr. Saley from Pendleton.
It's a pleasure to introduce my board, and although the superintendent, as Karen said, has a vision, that vision wouldn't have gotten anywhere unless we had board members that really supported that vision, and they supported not only with physical support and mental support, but with financial support, and I'm very grateful for it. We have with us Janine Predmore, one of our board members. Becky, you're on crutches, you didn't understand. With one leg, she's sexier than most people with two legs. And Catherine Bolt, our board member. That'll be here this evening. They're running late, and some have just elected to come, even knowing that they're going to miss dinner, but they're still going to come and experience. So, thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Dr. Saley. Dr. George Cook from Plum Borough, Superintendent.
Good evening. Well, we have to give credit to the board. Dr. Saley mentioned that. I also want to give kudos to the staff. As one of the founding superintendents, we know how important the selection of the teacher staff was. They have not let us down. It was very, very important to pick a core group. I think you mentioned their names now, those teachers, but they were able to transfer that energy and enthusiasm not only from the year that they started, but to succeeding years when we brought up new staff. So I want to publicly thank them for what they have done. With me tonight, and one of my board members, I don't know where he went, but Donna Adamski's supposed to be sitting here, and my school board president, Gary Horner.
Thank you, Dr. Cook. Unfortunately, Woodland Hills has a conflict this evening, and Dr. Stanley Herman is not able to be here, nor any of his board members. But he has been very instrumental in our program. At this time, I'd like for Dr. Saley to come up with the invocation. Yes, we do have a special guest I was going to introduce later, but special guest from the Wilkinsburg School District. We do have some tuition-paying students from the Wilkinsburg School District, and Dr. Joe Tyndall is here. If you would introduce your board members, please.
Good evening, I'm Joe Tyndall, and I'm very sorry that I wasn't on the train when it pulled away from the station when this thing got started, but I wasn't sitting in this seat, so believe me, if I had been, I'd be a member of the original train that took off. So I'm very proud of my students that we send out to Boyce campus, and looking forward to sending more students because we always need opportunities for kids when they don't make it in the home setting. We need to provide other alternatives for them, because the main objective is to keep them in school. So that being said, I would like to introduce my board president from Wilkinsburg. This is Gene Dexheimer. Our vice president of the school board, Mr. James Richard. We also have one other board member who signed up and said she might be here, so maybe she'll show up a little later, and at that time I've introduced her. Okay? Thank you for
very much.
inviting me.
Thank you. Officer.
Joe, you might have missed the train. You were at the plane station when the train was up. But you got here quicker. You didn't have to go around. Let's just bow our heads.
There she comes in. She's coming through the door, right?
I got one extra
I'm just looking for a spot pass.
Not too many. Not too many. Like I said, big is in this decade. 2001 to 2010. Big is in. Well, he turned all his back. We're working on him though. We're feeding on him. which one doesn't fit.
Now let's play a song that she made for our students when they graduated last year. The title of it is Your Own Specialness.
I'm more nervous than he is.
Smile.
Smile pretty, huh?
For special people. Without our parents, our students, and especially our staff, the school would not work. As you know, I'm the director of Carolyn Castle, and without the help of George Vergage, who helped start our school, we would not be as strong as we are nor as good as we are. So at this time, I'd like for George to stand up. Along with George Vergage, we have Bert Ogden, who came to us this year, who has really stepped up and has taken hold and is like a bulldog. He's like a pit bull. He's persistent, he's consistent, and we're very pleased to have him with us. Would you please stand, Bert? And our important teachers and staff I'd like to introduce tonight. In my department, you already met our art and music departments. They're big. We have health and physical education. Would you stand up? This is Michael Verico. And he has a department meeting he never argues. We have a science department. Would you please stand? Math, please stand. And Joe Sides,
Sir Kearns.
and one is missing,
Sir Kearns.
Trita Allen. Trita couldn't be here tonight.
There we
She
go.
is watering her basement. So we always say she's a drip. Social Studies Department? Social Studies? Mr. Psycho also teaches psychology. One of our teachers is missing. Her father passed away this past Sunday, and so she couldn't be with us tonight, Sherry Shadrack. English department? And Joanne Pratt. Our secretary, she got all this together along with her interns. We have a real special love for her. I wish you'd stand up, Donna Roberta. Our intern is Brian Till. She's also an alum of our school. Brian? Aaron Burson. Would you stand up, Aaron? Right here. I want to be very brief because the parents, I can't read that first. He always keeps me straight. Our school is a combination of middle college, high school, and community college. Without that bond, the school wouldn't work. We have a special person who keeps us all straight, and his name is Mr. Sennick, and he's right here. He's our liaison with the BCMC. I would like to announce also that we have Richard Betters here, who's with us this evening, and he was one of the few people from the college who went with us to various places. And it's interesting, this is also his birthday, so I'd like to say happy birthday, Richard. The middle college concept is about 26 years old. Our school is 5 years old. We're one of 22 across the nation where we belong to the Middle College Consortium. We're the only one in Pennsylvania. We are unique. We are unique in other ways from other middle colleges. We're the only middle colleges that have 4 separate school districts that have come together to make the school, which is very unusual. And we're the only suburban middle college. All the other middle colleges are urban. There are middle colleges in Mott that have 26 school districts that give them students, but those 26 students go to the middle college high school, which is also the intermediate unit high school. So it's not 4 separate school districts coming together, 4 separate school boards coming together for a unique school that catches students who need some help. I do want to let you know also that we allow students to take college courses. This semester, I think we have about 36 students taking 67 courses for this semester. Over the year, we have 99 students taking about 110 courses for this year, which says something about our students. All of the students that come to us are average to above average students. All can do the work. All are unique. And that's what's positive about this program, is that these students are on college campuses, they can't take college work. They do college work. And some of the professors don't even know that they're high school students. And then when they find out, they're very amazed. Even some of the people who don't want us on campus. who don't think that we high school students should be on a college campus. Then they find out. And sometimes we have our students win people over. They sure have won us over at our school. At this time, though, I would like to have the parents and students speak. They're the ones that this is about. They're the ones that give the testimony to the school and to the board of directors from each of the schools. So I would like to have the students come up and if you would sit, if all the students would come up and sit here. Someone here? Students are going to be speaking. Don't rush. The first student that we have is Heather Burnside. Heather is from the Gateway School District and no, Plum School District, right here. I picked her up at Gateway today, but she's from the Plum School District. And she would come up at this time, Heather?
Hi, my name is Heather Burnside. I've been attending Boyce Middle College since last year, my 11th grade year. I like Boyce because the smaller classes and the more touchy with teachers because they have more time than at the regular high school. I like the people I care about when I get in school, my grades. I care if I graduate, what I do after high school. I'm more motivated. Recently, I finished my internship at local elementary school in Plum, and I've decided that I want to pursue a career as an elementary school teacher.
At this time, I'd like to have Alexis Hall come up. She has a cold, very bad cold. Alexis is from the school district of Wilkinsburg.
Good evening. Excuse my voice. This is my first year at BCMC. I'm a junior. Before attending BCMC, I attended Catholic High School in Wilkinsburg. I was raised in a Catholic elementary school. I started off in a public elementary school, and then I went to a Catholic school, and then I received a 4-year scholarship to Oakland Catholic. But I hated girls' school. So I had to get out of that atmosphere. And I went to Wilkinsburg, and it was kind of a big change. It was like more fast-paced. It was more about who I had to impress, what I had to wear, things of that nature. And attending BCMC, has changed my grades. Currently, I have all A's and 2 B's. I'm very proud of that because before I was having D's and C's, and I was like looking at Mom, and she was like, "This is not what I expected." The faculty have changed my life tremendously. I did like a 360. And I just like to say that this program has helped me a lot, and I want to thank his work, Mr. Tindall and the board for paying my tuition to go. And I just want to say thanks.
We have a student who's listed, Dwayne Harris. Dwayne couldn't make it this evening. He didn't have a ride. So I couldn't go pick him up because I didn't pick up. Jason Kieran.
Getting close enough? This is better, isn't it? So I heard this slightly dignified speech. Get something on this for a speech. Okay. First off, my name is Jason Kieran. I was a Gateway student. So this is my It's hard to fill a few lowly minutes with the intensity of life that the past 4 years has brought me. It's odd in this day and age that any teenager would explain and say that his high school brought upon this intensity. But the middle college is not just a high school. It is not just an educational facility. It is a home away from home for so many students, only with an extensively large family. Mr. Vergich, Mrs. Hassel, father and mother, of course, the teachers are the progeny, and the students are mere children stuck in the toddler years, allowing BCMC to slowly help them through adolescence, into the real world, off, out, and onto adulthood. Just look at the example standing before you. I live in a strong doubt that without the help of this school, I would not have been accepted to the University of New Orleans. Among many others, I don't think that I would be juggling as well. I don't think that I would be writing poetry as well. I don't think that I would be who I am as well if it wasn't without my experience as a boys' middle college student. I know a moment came when I felt certain that the teacher's resolute passion for teenagers and education were capable of anything. And I found it amazing that the unimaginable was sometimes suggested by the inanimates of a building. It's almost sad to say that I'm graduating this year, but I gladly leave behind the empty space to be filled and consumed by another child lost between black forests and trees, only to be touched, inspired, and cared for by the same reasons and abilities that my teachers have set forth for me.
Can't find my ears because of that. Yeah, I have hecklers up here. You want to? We have other people go up here. At this time, I'd like for Lauren Wiley to come.
My name is Lauren Wiley from junior high school. I began attending BCMC at the beginning of this school year. I decided to attend to voice because I wasn't too proud of my grades for my second time. Don't get me wrong, no time was good at school, but it wasn't just for me. At Penrose, I was too worried about having friends and being good at studying. I didn't really care for my grades that much until one day I realized that I needed to make a change in my life. Because with the grades I had, Clinton Hills, I wasn't going to get it where I wanted to go in life. So I decided to make a change. I heard about BCMC from one of my friends, so I decided to ask my parents about it. We had applied to BCMC, and when I first got to BCMC, it was very different from Penrose. There weren't any bells, no lockers, very few students attended the school. The teachers there were great. They were very sincere and concerned the students succeed. The teachers at my home school didn't have any time to see what I was capable of doing. They only knew test scores and no one assignments. We at BCMC, the classes were smaller, and larger classroom time allowed more teachers and students interaction. I'm glad that the school districts were able to diverse such a school for students like me, where I can excel and show positive potential and consider post-secondary education. Something I never noticed that I never once noticed, or considered, sorry. I want to take this time and say thanks to BCMC for giving me such a chance.
BCMC. And they are all very articulate, and I really appreciate the comments tonight. Thank you so much. Will you go back now? Well, parents, you can stay where you are if you wish. At this time, I would like to have Adele Gracinger come up. Mr. Charles Davis was unable to come tonight because of illness. So, Mrs. Gracinger. Mrs. Mrs. Graysinger is from Penn Hill.
From really far away. And back there. Thank you, Mrs. Hassel. I wrote down a whole lot of stuff, and I'm probably not going to say most of it. I get a little bit emotional. I guess what I'd like to say mostly is thank you. As a single parent, I found it really difficult when my oldest daughter started to fall between the cracks. She graduated last year, and I'm so proud. I'm fortunate enough to have another daughter attending BCMC this year. It's made such a dramatic difference in their lives and my life. Our life as a family. There was, like I said, a lot of stuff I wanted to say. I'm just thankful that this program was available to help these kids. When I attended Judy's graduation, I knew a lot of the kids in her class. And I can say that most of them would not have graduated if it wasn't for this program. I can also say that I've never attended a graduation ceremony where the students stepped off the stage and instead of joining their families, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, the staff and the students stood in front of the stage and hugged each other and cried. These teachers, Mrs. Hassel, Mr. Burbage, everybody forms such a bond with these kids. It motivates them, it makes them feel good about themselves, and they're able to accomplish what they wouldn't be able to otherwise. And I already said more than I wanted to. But once again, I would really, really like to thank everybody responsible for making this program available. I don't think you realize how much it means to the parents and the kids.
You know, I must have, in my past life as a guidance counselor at Penn Hills High School, before I was a guidance counselor, I was a health and physical education teacher. And we've done such a good job, and I must have had this in me all these years, because sitting in the audience tonight is a school board member. Can you believe? A school board member that I had as a student. And she's sitting, I had two, oh, that's right, I had two of them. But you have to remember, you only remember the very good and the very bad. So, these two right here, Fred Moore, and is it Becky now?
It's Fitzmore. It was, yeah.
It was, Fitzmore.
Yes, and mine was Colorado.
Colorado, yes, that's what, well, can you believe that? Long time ago. You know what, Burbage? I'm almost as old as you.
Keep her up, you're not going to make it.
At this time, I'd like to have Bruce Kieran come up, father of Jason.
I'm Bruce Karen. I'm Bruce Karen, with Jason's father. He's a senior at BCMC this year. You've heard us speak earlier. It's difficult in 2 or 3 minutes to convey how emotionally stressful Jason's situation
To start over. So the Lord, He did hear my prayer. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, but He answers all of them. So Justin started this year, and he's a junior. And he liked it right away. He comes home every day and he tells me what he's doing all day. In fact, he never shuts up about it. It's a wonderful thing. He talks about the teachers. He makes these teachers sound like friends, people that he really loves. I can feel it. He respects them. He's also made some very nice friends. He's been on the high honor roll every grade period where he was getting C's and D's and F's before. He's enthusiastic about his schoolwork. He's very motivated. He has hope now. And he plans to go on to college. He'll be attending the conference of the middle colleges in Dallas, Texas this year, along with 9 other students. So BCMC has really changed his life. It's changed our whole family situation, I believe. When you're, they say when mom's not happy, nobody's happy. Well, when your kids aren't happy, I don't think we're very happy parents. The teachers and directors of BCMC are very unique. We went to open house. My husband and I went to open house. We didn't want to leave. It was just wonderful. People were just so warm. I believe these students, now they know and they understand that these teachers care, where they maybe weren't feeling that way before in their home schools. The kids, they feel accepted, respected, wanted, they feel important, and most of all, they feel loved. That is the greatest gift of all. And I'd like to read from my favorite book. I carry my book around with me, my Bible verse, my son calls it. So I'd like to read it from 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. Love does not demand its own way. Love is not irritable, and it keeps no record when it has been wronged. It's never glad about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. There are 3 things that will endure: faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. And also, I just want to thank God for everything that He's answered our prayers. And He's always answering. We just have to wait. I want to thank Mrs. Hassel, and Mr. Burgage, and Mr. Ogden. Am I saying that right? Okay. And all of the people at the community college. All of you wonderful teachers, you have not a clue. I don't know that I could ever express how this has helped my son. Dr. Cook, and all the other district superintendents whom I don't know your names, thank you for starting this school. And all the school board members, I think they probably had to vote to get this through, right? Well, it's a wonderful thing, and I hope they continue in other districts. And anybody else that I've missed, it is a true blessing to all that are involved. We are very grateful, all of us, all of the parents, I believe. And I keep on saying that also. You think it's going to end soon? I will. I also want to thank all the Plum teachers, the homeschool school teachers, that taught Justin at Plum. He couldn't work to his potential at the high school, but he learned from them. And that is his foundation, and we should never, ever forget where we came from. So we are so fortunate to have BCMC. God bless you all. Thank you. Our next speaker is Kathleen Manise. Kathleen is a parent of a student from Wilkesboro.
I feel a little bit nervous here after these articulate parents from Paul.
saying that my daughter has some serious psychological and physical problems. But at the same time, she's seriously attractive, seriously talented, and seriously bright. She was born in Brazil, and I went to adopt her when she was about a year old. The orphanage was unable to give us enough information about her birth, parents, and her history. She has never been an easy child to parent. But our parenting difficulties really escalated greatly at puberty. From kindergarten through 9th grade, we sent her out to private schools, and in 10th grade, we sent her to Wilkinsburg High School. She was consistently truant and said she hated school. Although, from 8th grade on, she said she hated school. So it started at 8th grade. The principal, vice principal, counselors, and teachers at Wilkinsburg High School, Mr. Tyndall, bent over backwards to help my daughter. They were just tremendous. It was to no avail. So Ms. Neathball, the school counselor, told us about BCMC. And we were pleased over this option. I'm not going to tell you that from the day she walked into the middle college, things have gone smoothly. They haven't. I can, however, tell you that about 2 months ago, I was asking her some particulars about school, and she told me that she liked school. This revelation was in and of itself a miracle. The staff at the middle college has been wonderful and motivational. And although I don't pretend to understand all the techniques you use, turning your attitude about school to a positive one is, in my way of thinking, a major victory. For her father and me, this offers hope that she will continue and graduate. My husband and I extend our gratitude to the staff of the middle college for their efforts, to Mr. Tyndall and the Wilkinsburg School District for participating in the program, which offers a much-needed alternative for some children. Sincere thanks to all of you.
As you can see, the program works. We have students who are alumni that we thought and a parent of the alumnus that we would like to have come up at this time. I'd like to have Michelle Stock. Please come up. She's one of our success stories.
My name is Michelle Stock. Said I wasn't going to cry. I started already. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight and giving me this opportunity to tell you how BCMC has changed my life. Before I began BCMC in '96, I attended Plum Senior High School and was thinking of dropping out, but I knew it would devastate my parents. My guidance counselor told me about this new school and I would make really help. I had already given up. My parents tried to get me to go, and I wouldn't. And one night I received a phone call, and on the other end of the line was this man. And he talked to me like I was a person, not just a number. And he told me that everyone was looking forward to meeting me. I decided to go to the interview. When I arrived, the gentleman interviewing made me feel comfortable and laughed. As I was leaving the interview, I told my parents I would try the school and see what happened. When I arrived at BCMC, I was very close, and I didn't want to open up to anyone. But before I knew it, I began to feel like the faculty were my friends, and I wasn't opening up. I began to work hard in my classes and feel comfortable asking questions. The smaller class sizes really helped because I was noticed, not just a number. When I received my first report card, I was expecting my usual grades. When I received A's and B's, I couldn't believe that I was doing so well. My whole attitude changed, and I was feeling good about myself. I was actually looking forward to going to school now. BCMC became a part of me, and I became a part of BCMC. I joined the student government, yearbook committee, dance committee, literary magazine, science club, art club, and I was a student ambassador. I took many trips to represent BCMC, and I was so honored that I was asked to speak on behalf of the middle college. To me, some people thought I was nothing. My dreams were finally coming true. There was a place to help the students and to give that little care and push that we all needed. As time went on, my grades were doing better than I ever imagined, and I was told I could take some college classes. I did take those classes. Teachers never knew I was a middle college student. I received A in just about all the classes I took there. I became a part of CCAC student government, took trips to time. BCMC helped me find myself, and I'm proud of who I am. I graduated BCMC with a 3.8 grade point average. I used to dream of graduating. When the time came, I was sad. I knew I wouldn't be around the people who cared for me. I'm sorry. So I decided to stay at CCAC for another year so I could be around my family. I went there and I did really good. And some people told me it was time for me to move on to bigger and better things. I applied to many colleges and I got accepted and I had to choose. I decided to go to Seton Hill because I heard that it was like a middle college, smaller class sizes, teachers who cared. I'm currently approaching the end of my first year at Seton Hill, and I have 1 B in all A's. I am majoring in psychology with a gold certification for elementary and special education. I want to someday count the way BCMC has helped me. The students who have fallen and can't get up. I want to help them. So, thank you.
This is a very emotional night. This time I would like to have Mr. Herman Ross come up, and his son graduated 2 years ago.
Everything that you've heard here is just a mirror image of what had happened to my family. My son was lost. He struggled through Linton and Penn Hills. By the time he hit to high school, in the first semester alone, he probably missed 45 days. The punitive measures started. The magistrate was getting involved. The spiral was completely in the wrong direction. There was no answer. By faith, someone mentioned BCMC. When I heard about the program there, and I knew there was a voice, a few years earlier, I had had the opportunity to twist of fate, be able to go back and re-educate myself. I knew the program that Dr. Martoni and the other individuals out of police ran. I knew the quality of education that we had gotten into the police. When I left police, after I achieved my 60 credits, I went on to Robert Morris, which is considered one of the more credible colleges in the area. The quality of education I received there did not match the atmosphere that I was educated at the police campus. When we went out there, we met Mr. Vergich and Mrs. Passel. Just from the moment we walked through the door, I could tell that this was just an extension of what I had experienced in that same building, that my son was going to be able to run himself. I thought he was lost. They found him. They helped him find himself. And I see that every day in his life now. That first semester out, he started going back to police. He became disillusioned with the process. There it goes again. That's what I thought. We're losing it again. I don't know why it didn't work for him there. But like in the normal high schools, sometimes our children are square pegs trying to fit in a peg hole that's round. The regular schools do a fantastic job, but there are a lot of individual students out there that need something special. This program, I think, from what I've seen, has produced an outrageous amount of individuals who were lost. Where do we invest? Do we invest in programs like this? Or do we build more community prisons on the Monongahela River, where these individuals without an education probably will end up? If you look at the statistics, the individuals in those facilities have a high level of learning dysfunction or disabilities associated to the educational process. It's very easy to become disillusioned in the large populations of the high schools. The intermediate schools are just as tragic for a lot of our children. We're going to pay for it sooner or later. The investment that you see that these individuals have given and gotten has already produced an outrageous amount of success. As a business manager, the community system is probably one of the best systems that Allegheny County has going through right now, because it truly is something that belongs and can be utilized by the community. The staff at the school, at BCMC, from the moment I started to meet them, inspired me. I watched them. They don't talk at the children, they talk to the children. They don't separate them from the process, they include them in the process. Just the interview process alone has never stayed static. The input of all the individuals who come into the program gets fed back into it to refine that policy of how you enter this school. You're not just another individual here, you are part of this. You are a community inside of the community college. They have the ability to access college programs. My son, just the other day, said, "Dad, when I went out there, you told me I should take some college classes. While I was there, it was there, I should have utilized it, because I only did so many hours of school every day. I got wasted another hour, and I got to go another class, and we wiped off a semester eventually from school." Now he's out there and he's paying for it. Now he understands what I was trying to tell him. But from the moment he entered there, the first day at the interview, my son came out of that meeting and he went, "Yeah, right." Because he didn't believe in what we told him. Like a lot of these young children, we disillusion them very quickly. We label them, and they lose a value of who they are. And we can't afford to do that. Our environment requires that they become productive quickly. I and my generation are not the future. They are the future. We're caretakers. I hope that my generation doesn't screw it up any more than we already have. Because what we give them, they've got to correct. The education they got there is unbelievable to me. My son came home and he talked about the concepts that they were using, and it just amazed me that they incorporated so many different things into one class. At that time, he was telling me that there was no separation between one class and another. That they utilized and they were taught that the math class spilled over into the English class. The English class turned over and spilled off into the art class. And it made it so much simpler for him to conceive his ideas of what he wanted. When he first went away to Johnstown, that first semester for him up there was tragic. He got started in January. He was up there pretty much by himself, isolated for the first time in his life, and he would call home. And in the conversation, there would be little things that he would say like, "Well, Mrs. Hassel, or Mr. Burgage, or Mr. Knoll, or this person or that person from PCMC would have always told me, this is what I got to do to get through this." I said, "Well, it sounds like sound advice, use it." Then he came back down to Pittsburgh eventually. Now he's at the University of Pittsburgh. He's doing quite well. This is a child that a few years ago said, "I quit. I don't know what I can do." The day he graduated, I promised several of the people that were there that I owed them a great debt. I could speak every day for them, and it would never repay the debt. What my son was given was a chance. He's utilizing everything he was given. He was taught by people who, in other school districts, or if they're in the main school district, would probably be eligible for retirement by the rules. But they don't. They pursue what they truly are, educators and teachers. They give them concepts. They include them in the class. They don't talk at them. When I went out for an open house, Mr. Psycho, I thought his classes were some of the most interesting ones I'd ever seen. I wish some of the college classes I'd taken would have been that open. It wasn't teaching an idea, it was teaching a concept of thought. There's nothing that we do in our lives that is independent of itself. You have to be able to develop that logic and incorporate logic from other fields to bring in to make it work. When they told me about the internship program, I work with developmentally disabled adults. My son wanted to get into law enforcement. He couldn't get in because there was some complications with regulations. So for that one semester, he actually came to work with me. He got an opportunity to give back a little bit to somebody else who had a little bit less than he did. He learned from that experience. I wish all the schools, maybe all of our kids, when they get ready to leave, give something back. It's a great feeling. There's no words that I can give that I can't repeat whatever was said. You could talk to 100 parents of 100 students, and it would be like that commercial we see on TV where they start a simple line, and it's a different face, and the line continues. Our children are our most important asset. Community college is a fantastic asset. Hopefully with Dr. Montoni's help, I believe you're on the county council now. Allegheny County has been at the spearhead of so many important projects. Los Angeles takes credit for their freeways. Where did they get the concept from? Allegheny County. We start a lot of things here that the rest of the country mimics. My only frustration in all this is all of the opportunities the community college has available in all the locations that we haven't turned around and used those assets. There are so many kids out there that could use this. You have all your main campuses, all your satellite campuses. This is such an important project. And I know funding becomes an issue, but like the Japanese, we have to start an investment in our children. Without it, it's going to cost us more in the end. We're going to have more problems with dysfunctional adults that cannot maintain jobs because of a lack of education. Pittsburgh is changing. We're not a labor town anymore. We're turning into a town that requires an education. The trend has started to change. Some of the young people are starting to stay here. We can't survive without them staying here. They need the education that needs to be present in this area right now. I can't say enough words for the people at the college. What they have done for me and my family is phenomenal. I hear the words coming out of my son's mouth now. He came home from when he started there and he actually talked to me again. That had all shut down. They saved my family. I'm proud to hear that Wilkinsburg is actively getting involved because they have the same need that everybody else here needs. Funding is crucial. The more that are involved, the easier it becomes because of the density. You get to spin it out further. Our children have to be invested in it. I thank them for what they did for me and my son. I wish they would have been around for my oldest son. Because that took me quite some time to turn that one around. But every day I see my son Eric come home, and he tells me things. And it's so good. It feels so good. That was gone. I now have it again. And to these people here, they're the ones who got it. Because everything I was doing was just completely unproductive. And all of a sudden, my son turned into a man. And he now relies on the things that he learned there, the skills, the raising his self-esteem, his perception of the world around him, all these things. I tried to teach him for years. Some people who didn't belong to my family at one time were able to get through. Now they become my extended family. They help save my son. Hopefully someday he'll pay that back to them. Somewhere along the line, he'll be a productive adult. We need more people like that. Listening to some of the students here tonight as they talk, there's another whole wave of them coming out. These are our futures. We can't deny them. We have to invest. The first time I spoke, my son watched the video. The next day at school, he says, "Oh my God, Dad, why'd you have to say all that stuff? That was embarrassing." Now I'm out. Daddy doesn't know when to shut up. And this time, he stopped back at the school. He didn't stop at the school to meet students. He went back to school to see what teachers were still there. He went back to get a hug from Mrs. Hassel and see if Mr. Burgess was all right. You heard he was semi-retired, he wanted to make sure he was okay. He went back to see some of the teachers who were still there from when he was there. To me, that's an amazement. He didn't go back for his peers, he went back for the adults who had shown him something. They gave him a second chance. I owe that to these people here. They helped him. They helped him a lot. The first time I spoke, I closed by saying a Chinese proverb. It goes something like this. It's not politically correct by today's standards, but if you feed a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. They taught my son to fish. I'm proud of that. I just hope they can continue, because the dollars spent here are spent wisely. The production of that school for the kids to go on is extremely high. I hope we don't lose sight of that. Never. Thank you.
We're going to be meeting close. I'm Joe Sager, I'm Superintendent Penn Hills and Superintendent Record here. I want to introduce a couple of people that came in late. Linda Schlegel was one of our board members. Stand up. I've got reasons for introducing these two people. Linda's been with us since the beginning of the program. Sitting behind her is Evelyn Purvis. Stand up, Evelyn. Evelyn is a new board member. Evelyn did not know about the program and took it on faith, took it on trust. And that's when this program works. People have to trust the recommendations and trust our instincts relative to kids. We see what's happened. This program has provided intensive care education to children. I've heard this a dozen times. Intensive care education, not the regular type of education. And again, I want to thank you, the teachers who I go on record as saying are the best in the world. We just can't, I don't know how we do it either. I mean, we've just been so lucky to get the teachers we get, and when we get here to feed off each other. I want to thank the teachers again, the parents. You heard what the parents had to say. What more can I say about that? The kids inspire me. You're going to let your speech next year. I don't have to worry anymore. So listen, we're big at the weather tonight. It's been a long evening, but a productive evening. We've got an idea of what this place is about. We're going to continue this program. I may not be around, but my predecessors and my successors carry on. Another person who took it on faith, Rich Demenzi, a friend of mine, superintendent of Gateway School District. Just raise your hand so they know where you're at. Rich, again, new to the area, took this program on faith, and I think he believes in it. And I believe we're quite to see these people carry on. So thanks a lot. Have a good night.